Greetings, Roller Coaster Fanatics! Welcome out to another FanFacts Park Tour with yours truly, the Coaster Fanatic. Now, if you don't know what FanFacts Park Tour is, well, it's basically where I give you the 5 things that will annoy you, or it annoyed me, and the 5 things that I loved about going to this park. And I'm giving this information out because it could annoy you, or you might love this thing when you go to this certain park. It kind of gives you an expectation. So here we go. We're going to start it with the 5 things that you love. This is on the first park that I went to start up the 2016 season, and that is Six Flags over Georgia. My third Six Flags park I've been to, just to throw out that weird fact, I don't know why. But anyway, 5 things that you'll love. The 5th thing is fast dispatching. I know, especially with the B&Ms, but I even saw on Mindbender that the trains were leaving the station very quickly, and I like that. But it's not operations in general. It will be a category next, as you'll see later throughout this video. But I love how the trains are dispatching, especially on Goliath, because they actually had timers in between 45 to 60 seconds, I think. And basically, they're trying to beat the clock, get that train dispatched, and so they can get the next one in and roll them back out. So I really love it. Fantastic job on Six Flags. So moving on, the 4th thing that you'll love is their water park. Now it's brand new, so they don't have the old technology of some of the other water parks, like maybe Soak City at Cedar Point, or the Soak Cities at all the other Cedar Fair parks, actually. What am I saying? Because it's all brand new. It's a brand new water park, brand new stuff for the kids, thrills, and it's amazing. But it is on the smaller side. So if you're not a big fan of that, then right on down the road is Whitewater in Atlanta. But the problem is, though, you do have to pay extra. So that's why this water park is actually really good, and it's going to be worth your time if you're into water parks, you know? The 3rd thing that you'll love, and this is not with normal Six Flags parks, I'll just tell you that right off the bat. This is not normal. Landscaping. Like, seriously, this is a Six Flags park we're talking about. Why is landscaping number 3, you might be asking? This park is insane. There is landscaping everywhere. Seriously, I was like, wait a minute, am I in a Busch Gardens park or a Cedar Fair park? What is going on here? I was blown away with how much landscaping at this park. It was phenomenal. Another thing I must say, and this is I'm just comparing this to only the other 2 I've been to, because I haven't been to all of them, unfortunately. Six Flags parks anyway. But there is a lot of trees. You're submerged in trees. I mean, not all of the park is not. There are some parts where you're out in the open a lot, but a lot of this park is in trees. You're surrounded by trees. It feels different. You're not out in the open like most of these Six Flags parks, and that's what I love. It's fantastic, and I gotta give it to you, Six Flags over Georgia. You're phenomenal. Moving on, 2nd thing that you'll love is food. Now here's the thing with the food. Now they have the normal Six Flags stuff, your burgers, chicken tenders, hot dogs, pizza, Asian cuisines as they like to call it, basically Panda Express or chopsticks. But another thing, there's 2 restaurants here that are very noticeable, and the first one that is where I ate when I went, and that is Daddy-O's, basically barbecue. Of course, I've said on this channel a lot, I love barbecue. Barbecue is life for me when I go to these amusement parks, and just in general. So I tried their barbecue, and I gotta tell you, it was not disappointing. It was really well done. I really liked it. I love the sides that go with the barbecue. But another place that's that really needs to be mentioned is the brand new bar, the Sports Bar and Grill. Fantastic. I've seen pictures. It was under construction when I went, but I've seen pictures and videos, and oh my gosh, it looks phenomenal. Oh my gosh, this is definitely a place that you want to go to when you want to relax after you, like, in the middle of the day, you just want a place to relax before you go back and start riding roller coasters nonstop, or just chilling out and riding other rides. So fantastic. I tip my hat off to Six Flags for that fantastic Sports Bar and Grill. Great idea. Now the number 1 thing is with all Six Flags parks, because they do really well at this, and that's rides. They have a lot of rides, great variety of roller coasters too. You go from a hyper to a stand-up to an invert, and then you go to a flying coaster. That's just B&M lineup anyway, but they have a great selection. I enjoy it anyway. It's really not that bad. And if you're not into roller coasters, they have shows, they have rides, they have the new DC Super Friends, which is opening up, and by golly, that looks like it's going to be one of the best kick sections ever. It looks phenomenal, and not the best, but it's probably going to be one of the best. Looks amazing, and it's just overall a really great addition. So that is it. The 5 things that I love that you might love when going to Six Flags Over Georgia. Now moving on to the 5 things that annoyed me and will possibly annoy you when going to Six Flags Over Georgia. The 5th thing is the virtual reality. Let's just get that out of the way. That thing is just a horrible new addition to Daredevil Dive. Now, it might work on some other coasters, but on Daredevil Dive in particular, where you already have a minimum capacity, it ruins it more. You're waiting 10 or 2 to 10 times as more if you would have waited last year when there was no virtual realities. The virtual reality is just not working. They need to take it back, redesign it, and then you can put it back on the ride again, because it's having a lot of breakdowns and people need to wash it. It gets all dirty. Some of them don't work, so some of them can't ride it. Then they get mad, and it just ends up in a mess. And man, there's points where I think when I went 4 times, the ride shut down and they evacuated everybody because they just couldn't figure out why the virtual reality wasn't working, and it just messes up the ride. I mean, I would rather have Daredevil Dive without virtual reality, unless they can fix the problem. Even though I do love the virtual reality, don't get me wrong, it just messes up operations for that ride. The 4th thing is convenience. Now, there's 2 things I'm replacing for convenience. The first one is lockers. The second one is park hours. The first one with lockers is it's just, no offense to any parks that do this, but it's really dumb to have both bins and lockers. In my opinion, choose one. And I don't like lockers personally, so please go with bins, because I would rather just leave my stuff right there in the bin, ride the ride, pick it back up, and leave. And even though there's that fear of things getting stolen, it's very rare, but it can happen. It's just, like I said, it's very rare. I still would rather do that than having to spend extra time trying to buy a locker, rent a locker, and I could be using that time to be waiting in line. So it messes up everything. The second part of the convenience is park hours. When I went there, it was open from 10:30 to 6. Why is that park hours? It annoyed me because I was rushing. It was I was going to be there for one time only, and I had to do this and this and this and this and this and this and this. I just had a huge list. I just had a huge list, a huge bucket list, you could call it, and I barely got it done in time. There were some rides I couldn't even ride. I was disappointed because I think there were some rides I did not get to ride Acrophobia. There were some other things I did not get to ride. I didn't even get to ride any junior things that I know I shouldn't be, but I just do, just to get the credit. But to be honest, I wish I had more time, and I was not given that time because Six Flags somehow thinks they should close early during the spring, where I think early should be 8 p.m., not 6 p.m. And of course, this was a Sunday, so it just annoyed me that it would close so early and not wait a while. So the 3rd thing that will annoy you when going to this park, and this is for parks, you might be used to this because a lot of parks have this, and that's hilly terrain. This is very rare for Six Flags Park. I think this one in Magic Mountain, I'm not sure. I've not been to Magic Mountain. But these 2 have just insane terrain. I mean, I haven't been to Busch Gardens in Silver City. Just some of these hills, man, at this park are so steep that you have to lean back, because if you stand straight up, bam, you're just gonna smack right on that pavement. It's just crazy. So I mean, I've never seen that at Six Flags Park, so I'm not used to it. I'm thinking of flat terrain, Great Adventure, America, just nice flat terrain. Oh boy, you're going to be thrown for a loop with the pathways on this park. Moving on to number 2, also have to deal with pathways, and that some of the asphalt here, and this with all Six Flags parks, the asphalt here still has problems with erosion and cracks. There are cracks everywhere in the asphalt. I know they're working on it in some sections to make it look better, but I know especially in the France section where there's like the nacho area, and I don't know why nachos are part of France, but we're just gonna let that slide. But the pathway needs some work. I think I even showed this in my Around the World, but there was a lot of cracks and it just did not look good. But this is with all Six Flags parks that I've been to anyway. They all had the same problem. Same thing for number 1. And even Great Adventure had this problem, and that's operations. Now, this park has some great dispatching, but horrible capacity. Most of the rides here had 1 train. Goliath had 1 train. Now, it's not that it's the operator's fault. This Goliath was actually, the second train was just not working. It was just not able to run that day anyway. So I think they're running 2 trains on a day better. It's Goliath. But Mindbender, they only have 1 train. They don't even have the second train up and running. I'm like, seriously? Come on. I mean, I know it's not summer, but still. Give us 2 trains, really. It really does annoy me when a lot of the Six Flags parks do this. I mean, there's just they keep it down to 1 train just because they want to save money and not a lot of ride time, which makes sense. But still, I mean, there's most coasters that had 2 trains, but none went over the 3 train capacity, unfortunately. But I did see some 2 trains, but there were some coasters I know, like Goliath, Mindbender, Georgia Cyclone, they just had 1 train. So, that is it for my Fan Facts Park Tour on Six Flags Over Georgia. If you want a park that you think I've been to be featured, let me know in the comments below. Thank y'all for watching. Don't forget to smash that like button and subscribe if you enjoyed videos and you want to see more like these in the future. Thank y'all for watching, and as always, Roller Coaster Fanatics, keep coasting.